This land is not for the weak. Most of us wouldn't last a day. But we know you're different. Even the Raven could see that.
Ravenbound is an upcoming open-world action RPG roguelike game? What the hell? Systematic Reaction, the company behind this game, released their announcement trailer for Ravenbound back in August. And as you can see, it's giving off some Breath of the Wild and perhaps even Elder Scrolls Skyrim vibes. As most of you are aware though, Breath of the Wild and Skyrim are definitely not roguelike games. So despite some similarities, this game at its core should play very differently from the more traditional RPGs that many of us are used to. If you don't know what a roguelite game is, let me enlighten you. But first, let me point out that the game does not currently have a release date, but it will be launching on PC via Steam, but I can't find anything on consoles at the moment. So roguelite is a subgenre of roguelike games, and the term roguelike originates from a game that was released in 1980 called Rogue. Roguelike games, in a general sense, are games that have their core features designed around randomly or procedurally generated levels, permadeath, and also character progression. So you play through a game's levels while progressing your character, but when you die, you have to start all over again. On your next run, however, the game's level design will be different. Roguelike games such as Ravenbound feature all three of those design elements. However, in a roguelite, your character after death will take something with them for their next run. So when you die, you do have to start over, but your character will have gained something, whether that be XP, items, gear, etc. Roguelite games over the course of history have started to become much more popular than roguelike games, and for understandable reasons. Both types of games are very punishing with their permadeath, but roguelites offer players tangible rewards for playing. I don't know if tangible is the right word for video games, but I think you guys get what I'm saying here. The interesting thing about Ravenbound being a roguelite game is that it has an open world. Most roguelites do not feature this Breath of the Wild Skyrim style open world for you to explore. Most of the time they're more dungeon crawler-like in nature. This open world element combined with the medieval fantasy vibes definitely caught my attention, and it's cool to see a company trying something different. Over on the Ravenbound website, we have a passage that says this: "True power grows over many lifetimes. Fear everything and nothing, for death brings you closer to victory in this challenging open-world action roguelite. As the vessel of an ancient power, you must use steel and skill to complete your mission in a dangerous but beautiful fantasy world inspired by Swedish folklore. Prepare for death, vessel, but fight knowing that with every enemy you defeat, you serve those who will come after you." So your death in this game clearly serves a greater purpose other than just sending you raging back to the menu screen. We actually learn a little bit more about the death mechanic over on the Steam page, where Systematic talks about this game's other important feature, deck building. When you die in Ravenbound, you'll be selecting cards for more powerful gear, weapons, and magic. These are the cards that will be in the hands of our reborn characters. There will be some card drawing mechanic that has some RNG behind it, but over time, if you choose cards wisely, your overall deck will be much better stacked for your character's survival. At least that's what I'm getting from this. Now, the point of the game is that you are the vessel, and carried with you is a powerful weapon forged by ancient gods. This powerful weapon is the Raven, and its sacred duty is to rid the world of a vault of dark forces and defeat a very powerful enemy called the Betrayer. The gods have enshrined the Raven in the body of warriors, and we the players will play as these warriors, which are conduits for the Raven's quest. This is a good time to point out that the game is going to be single player, so when I say warrior in the plural form, I'm speaking to everyone in their own personal games, or the multiple warriors that you'll play because you're likely going to die quite a lot. This beautiful open world, like I mentioned earlier, is called a vault, and it's inspired by Scandinavian folklore, and we got to see monsters such as trolls, halders, and the undead Draugr. We'll be exploring a vault on foot, but also by wings, as we'll be able to assume the form of the Raven itself, as you can see in the trailer. There seems to be a lot of player agency in terms of where you, the player, will choose to go in this vast open world. As you explore, Systematic Reaction says that this stunning land and its creatures are ever-changing, giving rise to new foes, locations, and challenges when you least expect it. So the ultimate goal is to make the Raven powerful enough to take on what I would imagine would be the final boss of the game. But if you try to beeline it to places beyond your skills, power, and knowledge, you'll likely be put in your place and sent back to the starting screen. It also appears as if every time you die, the world is of course going to have a little bit of procedural random generation to make it a different world from your prior run. As all of you should have already noticed, unless you've been sleeping, and some people have told me they sleep during my videos, the combat in Ravenbound is third-person action combat, and according to the Steam page, dodging can be just as important as attacking, giving this game some sort of Souls vibes, I guess you could say. We see plenty of classic medieval type weapons in the trailer, but there's also magic in this game, and you can see it right in this clip right here. And there's also weapons that are called white weapons. I'm not really sure what those are. Perhaps they are weapons imbued with white magic, maybe? Since you only technically have one life per run, every combat encounter should probably be taken fairly seriously, as the point of a roguelite is of course to make it as far as you can, and eventually you should have a run where you fully complete the loop. On the Steam page, it also says that the combat abilities that you attain can benefit the vessel who rises in your place. So we don't know exactly how character progression is going to work, nor do we have a full understanding of the deck building mechanics, but it's pretty clear that making it as far as you can and gaining as much as you can on each of those runs is going to greatly benefit your runs in the future. So yeah, as someone who is a fan of the challenge of roguelite games, and also of course a fan of fantasy medieval open world RPGs that offer players the choices that come with an open world, this game sounds pretty cool. Will it turn out to be amazing? Who knows? But I do like seeing companies trying something kind of new and different, and the trailer was certainly intriguing. Systematic Reactions does have a beta sign up on their website, and I'll leave a link below in the video description for that, for those of you guys that want to check that out. And there's also a link on their website to join their community Discord. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will be keeping an eye on this one, and I'll certainly be giving it a try at the earliest possible chance that I get, so stay tuned.
This land is not for the weak. Most of us wouldn't last a day. But we know you're different. Even the Raven could see that. That's why it entrusted you to wield its power, to be its weapon, to meet the darkness and wound it, so that the cause does not die when you do. The hatred is a force stronger than you can imagine, but just as dust, carried by the wind, can level mountains, you can wield unimaginable power if you let it wield you.